Chapter 30. Sadaprarudita. Sadaprarudita sets out to find perfect wisdom. Furthermore, Subhuti, one should search for perfect wisdom as the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita has done, who at present leads the holy life in the presence of the Tathagata, Bish Magarjitani Ghosh Abhara. Subhuti asked, how then did the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita search for the perfection of wisdom? The Lord said, first of all, Sadaprarudita, the Bodhisattva, searched for perfect wisdom in such a way that he did not care for his body, had no regard for his life, and gain, honor, and fame did not interest him. He found himself in the seclusion of a remote forest, and a voice up in the air said to him, "Go east, son of good family. There you shall hear the perfection of wisdom. And on your way you must not pay any attention to the weariness of your body. You must not give in to any fatigue. You must pay no attention to food or drink, to day or night, to cold or heat. You must not make any definite plans, either about inward or about outward things. You must not look to the left or right, to the south, east, west, or north, upwards or downwards, or in any of the intermediate directions. And you must not allow yourself to be shaken by self or individuality, or by form or the other skandhas. For one who is shaken by those, he is turned away from the Buddha Dharma. When he is turned away from the Buddha Dharmas, then he wanders in birth and death. And when he wanders in birth and death, then he does not course in perfect wisdom. Then he cannot reach the perfection of wisdom. Sadaprarudita said to the voice, that is how I shall act, because I want to bring light to all beings, because I want to procure the dharmas of a Buddha. The voice answered, well spoken, son of good family. Thereupon the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita again listened to the voice, and what he heard was this. Son of a good family, you should search for perfect wisdom after you have produced the firm conviction that all dharmas are void, signless, and wishless. You must shun signs, existence, and the false view that there are beings. You must shun bad friends. Good friends, however, you should tend, love, and honor. They are those who demonstrate dharma, and who teach that all dharmas are void, signless, and wishless, not produced, not stopped, and non-existent. When you progress like this, you shall before long be able to study the perfection of wisdom either from a book or from the mouth of a monk who preaches dharma. And you should treat as the teacher that person from whom you may come to hear the perfection of wisdom. You should be grateful and thankful, and you should think, this is my good friend. When I have heard the perfection of wisdom from him, I shall soon become irreversible from full enlightenment, shall be quite near the Tathagatas, shall be reborn in Buddha fields in which Tathagatas are not lacking, and avoiding the unfortunate rebirths, I shall accomplish an auspicious rebirth. When you weigh up these advantages, you are bound to treat that monk who preaches dharma as the teacher. You should not follow him with motives of worldly gain, but from desire for dharma, out of respect for dharma. You must also see through Mara's deeds, for there is always Mara, the evil one, who may suggest that your teacher tends, employs, and honors things that can be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or touched, when in actual fact he does so from skill and means, and has really risen above them. You should therefore not lose confidence in him, but say to yourself, I do not know that skill and means as he wisely knows it. He tends, enjoys, and honors those dharmas in order to discipline beings, in order to win wholesome roots for them. For no attachment to objective supports exists in bodhisattvas. After that, you should contemplate the true reality of dharmas. That is, that all dharmas are without both defilement and purification. For all dharmas are empty in their own being. They have none of the properties of a living being. They have no life, no individuality, no personality. They are like an illusion, a dream, an echo, a reflected image. When you thus contemplate the true reality of all dharmas and follow the preacher of dharma, you shall before long go forth into the perfection of wisdom. But you must watch out for yet another deed of Mara. If the preacher of dharma should dishearten you by what he says, that should not make you averse to the perfection of wisdom. But with a mind that desires only dharma, that respects only dharma, you should, unwearied, follow the monk who preaches dharma. After receiving this admonition from the voice, the bodhisattva Sadaprarudita journeyed east. Before long it occurred to him that he had not asked the voice how far he should go. He stood still just where he was, cried, sorrowed, and lamented. For 7 days he stayed in that very spot, waiting to be told where he could hear the perfection of wisdom, and all that time he paid no attention to anything else, and took no food, but simply paid homage to perfect wisdom. A man, Subhuti, who had lost his only child, would be very sad and unhappy, and he would think of one thing only, his son and the sorrow he feels from him. Even so, the bodhisattva Sadaprarudita could at that time think of nothing else except, "When then shall I hear this perfection of wisdom?" Description of Gandavati and of Dharmogata's life. When Sadaprarudita thus sorrowed and pined away, a Tathagata frame suddenly stood before him, gave his approval, and said, "Well spoken, son of a good family. For the Tathagatas of the past, when they were bodhisattvas, have also searched for the perfection of wisdom in this same spirit in which you just now searched for it. In this same spirit of vigor and determination, of zeal and zest, do you go east. There, 500 leagues away from here, is a town called Gandavati. It is built of the 7 precious things. It is 12 leagues long and 12 leagues broad, and enclosed by 7 walls, 7 moats, and 7 rows of palm trees. It is prosperous and flourishing, secure from attack, contains abundant provisions, and is full of beasts and men. 500 rows of shops run through the town from one end to the other, beautiful to behold, like a well-colored painting, arranged one by one in regular succession, and in between them well-constructed and passages are erected, respectively for vehicles drawn by animals, for palanquins, and for pedestrians, so that there is plenty of room for all. The walls all around that town are made of the 7 precious substances. Their well-founded copings slope into the golden river Jambu, and on each coping grows a tree made of the 7 precious things, laden with various fruits, also made of precious things. All around, between each tree and the next, hangs a string, also made of precious substances. A network of small bells is fastened on the strings, and thus surrounds the entire city. When stirred by the wind, the small bells give out a sweet, charming, and delightful sound, just like the sound from the 5 musical instruments when they are played in harmony by the Gandharvas, skilled in songs. And that sound causes those beings to divert, enjoy, and amuse themselves. The moats all around the city are full of water, which flows gently along, neither too cold nor too hot. The boats on that river are brilliant with the 7 precious things, beautiful to behold, and their existence is a reward of the past deeds of the inhabitants, who aboard them divert, enjoy, and amuse themselves. The water is everywhere covered with blossoms of the blue lotus, the pink lotus, of the white lotus, and with other most beautiful and fragrant flowers. There is no species of flowers in the great trichiliocosm that is not found there. All around that city there are 500 parks, beautiful to behold, brilliant with the 7 precious things. Each park has 5 times 500 large lotus ponds covered with beautiful blossoms, each of the size of a cartwheel, fragrant, blue, yellow, red, and white. The sounds of geese, cranes, ducks, curlews, and other birds fill the air over the ponds, and the existence of those parks which they do not regard as their own private property is a reward for the past deeds of those beings, for they had coursed for a long time in the perfection of wisdom, their minds faithfully devoted to the guide of the Buddhas, and bent on listening to her and understanding her, and for a long time they had been intent on deep Dharmas. And there, in that city of Gandavati, at a place where 4 roads meet, is the house of the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata, 1 league all round, bright with the 7 precious things, beautiful to behold, enclosed by 7 walls and 7 rows of palm trees. There are 4 parks near the house, for the enjoyment of those who live in it. They are called Nitya Pradmudita, Asoka, Sokavigata, and Pushpachitra. Each park has 8 lotus ponds called Bhadra, Bhadrotama, Nandi, Nandotama, Kshama, Shamotama, Nyata, and Avivha. 1 side of each pond is of gold, the 2nd of silver, the 3rd of Vaidurya, the 4th of crystal. The ground at the bottom consists of quartz with golden sand over it. Each pond has 8 stairs to it, decorated with steps made of variegated jewels. In the gaps between the steps, inside the golden river Jambu, grows a plantain tree. The ponds are covered with various kinds of water flowers, and the air above them is filled with the sounds of various birds. Round these ponds grow various flowering trees, and when they are stirred by the wind, their flowers drop into the ponds. The water in the ponds has the scent, color, taste, and feel of sandalwood. In this mansion lives the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata with his retinue. He diverts, enjoys, and amuses himself. He feels and tastes the 5 kinds of sense pleasure. All the inhabitants of that city, both women and men, divert, enjoy, and amuse themselves. They have constant joy in the parks and on the ponds, and they feel and taste the 5 kinds of sense pleasure. The Bodhisattva Dharmodgata, however, with his retinue, diverts, enjoys, and amuses himself only for a certain time, and thereafter he always demonstrates the perfection of wisdom. And the citizens of that town build a pulpit for the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata in the central square of the town. It has a golden base. Then a cotton mattress is spread on that. Then a woolen cover, a cushion, and a silken cloth are put on top of that. High up in the air, half a kos high, there is an awning shining with pearls, even and firm. All round that pulpit, flowers of the 5 colors are strewed and scattered, and the pulpit itself is scented with various perfumes. So pure is the heart of Dharmodgata, so great the respect of his hearers for Dharma. Seated on that pulpit, the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata demonstrates the perfection of wisdom. The citizens of that town listen to his teaching with great respect for Dharma, with trust in Dharma, with faith in what is worthy of faith, with minds that are filled up in faith. In addition, many hundreds, many thousands, many hundreds of thousands of living beings, gods, and men assemble there to listen. Some of them explain the perfection of wisdom. Some repeat it. Some copy it. Some follow it with wise attention. All those beings are no longer doomed to fall into the states of woe, and they are irreversible from full enlightenment. Son of good family, Go to that Bodhisattva Dharmodgata. From him you shall hear the perfection of wisdom, for he has been for a long time your good friend. He has summoned, instigated, and encouraged you to win full enlightenment. He also has in the past searched for the perfection of wisdom in the same way in which just now you search for it. Go forth, son of good family. Go on day and night, giving your undivided attention to the task. Before long you shall hear the perfection of wisdom. When the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita had heard this, he became contented, elated, joyful, overjoyed, and jubilant. A man hit with a poisoned arrow could not think of anything else except, "Where shall I find a surgeon, a skilled physician, who can pull out this arrow and free me from this suffering?" Just so the Bodhisattva Sadaprarudita at that time pays no attention to any Dharma except, "When then shall I see that son of good family from whom I shall hear the perfection of wisdom? When I have heard that Dharma, I shall forsake all attention to a basis." Without leaving the place where he was, Sadaprarudita then heard the Bodhisattva Dharmodgata demonstrating the perfection of wisdom.